of Nations today became the focus of world attention as the U.S. delegate challenged the Russians to admit that their missile-carrying submarines have moved into the Caribbean. He made it clear that the U.S. will tolerate no threats to its sovereignty, and he accused the Soviets of trying to divert world attention from their actions in the Middle East. After heated discussion, the U.S. delegate indicated that the actions of the Communist bloc had been responsible for the tripling of our monthly draft calls. He denied the Russian delegate's accusation that the U.S. government is building up a large standing army for the suppression of its own people.
Do you like your job of flattering young people?
Senator George McLewis resigned from the Senate today after 22 years of active service. He said in a press conference shortly after he walked from the Senate floor that he could no longer participate in what he called the dismantling of basic freedoms for which this country was established. In a prepared statement, he mentioned specifically the types of, quote, repressive, unquote, legislation which led to his sudden resignation. These included the no-knock laws, stop and frisk laws, cancellation of immunity for Fifth Amendment cases, preventative detention, the activation of detention camps, and the establishment of quasi-judicial tribunals. He said that he was particularly disturbed by the reported activities in the punishment parks.
Marshal will now bring the 48th session of the tribunal to order.
48th Emergency Internal Security Tribunal, the Southwestern Region, as authorized by Executive Order number 302, is now in session. William C. Holger, Chairman, presiding.
Chairman, motion for dismissal at this time.
Dismissal on what grounds?
Constitutional. In particular, First, Fourth, Fifth, and 14th Amendments.
Motion overruled.
How the fuck you gonna overrule the Constitution?
Defense, keep the defendant silent.
Then if it please the court, I'd like to introduce a motion to have each of the defendant's convictions reviewed separately.
Denied.
In that case, and with all due respect to the court's identity as a tribunal, may I move that the court permit some equivalent of voir dire proceedings.
Denied.
Will the court set bail? Some of these defendants have been in jail now for months without being sentenced.
We don't even know what we're arrested
Keep
for.
the defense quiet. Keep the defendants quiet. Bail denied.
Yeah, deny. That's all the fuck you can do.
We've been in jail for 2 months, and we don't even know what we were arrested for.
Marshal, keep the defendants quiet. Leroy Brown, Jay Kaufman, James Arthur Kohler, Allison Mitchner, Charles Robbins, Nancy Smith, William Valerie. You stand here guilty of the grievous charge of conspiracy to undermine the national security and of separate charges which will be enumerated as so indicted and convicted at the preliminary hearings of the 5th Emergency Court of the 44th Precinct in the District of Glendale. Captain Edward Rubin, Sheriff's Department, presiding, May 24th of this year.
Temperature 89 degrees.
At the time of your sentencing, you will be able to choose between a penal sentence duly passed or accept the alternative of punishment park.
Punishment Park, described by the U.S. Senate Subcommittee on Law and Order as a necessary training for the law officers and National Guard of the country in the control of those elements who seek the violent overthrow of the United States government and the means of providing a punitive deterrent for said subversive elements.
You will speak only when you are spoken to and at no other times. Each violation of this ruling will result in a citation for contempt of court of 1 year in a federal penitentiary in addition to sentence duly passed. Finally, I wish to announce that we have with us at this time television film cameras of the national network, also those of Britain and West Germany. It is hereby hoped to document these proceedings and their results in the widest possible manner, as we know their import to be of vital concern to the people of the free world everywhere. Their coverage will be impartial.
Bullshit.
This trial is illegitimate. This trial is illegitimate, and it will be exposed for what it is.
These are the members of Corrective Group 638. And these, the members of Corrective Group 637, now sentenced to spending 3 days in Punishment Park.
First defendant,
What's your
My
name?
name is Brown, motherfucker.
Lee Robert Brown, well-known author, broadcaster, and political activist.
Listen, I want to be tried by a jury of my peers. That means black people. In front of witnesses who identify themselves. In person. Witnesses. Here.
Keep the defendant silent. Restrain the defendant.
No end in sight for the heat wave which has been flying Los Angeles and California for the past 3.5 months. Temperatures today will top 100 degrees for the 12th straight day in downtown Los Angeles, with the valley due for 105. Tonight's low will be 79 degrees. Deserts can expect mercury readings of 115 degrees plus.
You have accepted this course of your own volition as an alternative to your penal sentences. You understand you have 3 days and 2 nights in which to reach the United States flag flying 4.5 miles due north of the Bear Shadow Mountains. These you can see to your front. These mountains are 16.5 miles from the spot where you are standing. You will direct yourselves toward the area bounded by the indicating lights. Pursuit leader to 245, pursuit leader to 245. Ready your signal. You will head past this point, immediately turn west, that is to your left, and proceed 13 to 17 miles along the line of the mountains until you reach the saddle indicated by a second set of flags. There you will turn due north, cross the intervening plain, pass directly through the following range of hills. A further distance of 19 miles and proceed directly to the United States flag.
Mr. Brown, did you actually advocate overthrow of these, our United States? Mr. Brown?
I refuse to answer that question on the grounds that it may tend to incriminate me. That's my right under the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution, and overrule that.
Defendant, it's people like you, defendants like you with your...
Objections, Mr. Chairman.
What do you mean? What do people like you
Defense counsel, sit down.
Let that man alone.
The object of this course is simple.
Clear the tribunal. Clear the tribunal.
You must evade capture by the pursuing law enforcement officers and reach the flag by the appointed time. That is to say, 10 o'clock on the evening of the third day from now.
You must destroy our democracy, man.
Clear the tribunal. Clear the tribunal.
Your capture or your failure to complete the course within the given limit of time will result in the reversion to your penal sentence.
And are you or are you not a communist or a member of the Communist Party?
Objections.
Hey, man, I'll answer that motherfucking question.
What's your language?
You think my language is immoral?
Answer the
You
question.
think, what do you call that shit you just did, man?
Are you a member of the Communist
What do you call this shit here?
Klein, give your sidearm to Cepeda and go unlock the prisoners.
Were you going to call for revolution on that television?
What do you want me to say? I just told you the truth.
Were you going to call for
What
revolution?
would you do?
The truth as you saw it?
I would tell the
You know,
truth.
you could have a better country than
I would
you're
tell the
living
story
in
of
right
black
now.
people like it has never been told in this country, because you never tell it, because they never tell it. I would say what happens to Chicanos in this country, because the fruit growers ain't gonna tell it, and it's either they or members of their club who buys the time on that television set. I would tell what happened to people who are poor and uneducated and automated out of a job and who stand in long fucking lines talking to little people like you with delusions of power and unemployment lines all day long to be fucked off because your old man didn't ball you right last night. You got a case
What's your
of
language
ass.
as a lady in a court?
Where? The truth is the fact that you're devouring your children. The truth is the fact that you're oppressing the people who are powerless in the country. The truth is the fact that a few of the people in this country are living on the benefit. You want to listen or you want to talk?
Continue, Mr. Brown. Tell us your message.
You don't want to hear my message, man.
We want to hear your message.
You don't want to hear my
because some of
message. You
it.
spent 50 years evolving a propaganda system that'll take the truth and change it into what you want to hear. You don't want to hear shit that's going to mean you might have to give up something. You don't want it. All you want to do is sit on your fat dividend drawing ass and draw dividends.
See how I react to the names that you called me? I didn't react like as your people just reacted moments ago, did I? You called me pig and other names. Did I react like that?
You're in a very fortunate position, man. All I can do to you is call you a dirty name.
These officers have strict These officers have strict instructions not to molest you in any way. Or to in any way hinder you from reaching your ultimate destination. However, they will not allow you to leave the boundary of the course.
It has been stated, and it's a fact. There are more color television sets and automobiles owned by black people in the United States than all of Russia together.
So what?
That shows a very intense
So what?
interest in the economics of this country and your people.
Suppose nobody
They
in
do
Russia owned a
have.
car. What would your statistics mean?
They have a standard of living that's better than any in the world.
Hey, man, you can say an identical thing for every animal in the zoo. I'm sure their standard of living has increased. They certainly eat a fucking lot better.
The time is now 9:54 a.m. At 10, you will commence the course. At 12 noon, that's to say 2 hours from now, the pursuit forces will be set in motion against you. Today's pursuit force will consist of a unit of the National Guard, part of the tactical riot squad of a city police department, and 3 federal marshals.
At the Cinco de Mayo Congress of Chicano Youth, the defendant was quoted as saying, "To you I say, free your communities, arm yourselves. If pigs comprehend nothing but force, then use it. Liberate yourself. Off the pigs, kill the chief pig, liquidate the mayor, the governor,
Why don't you read the
etc."
rest of it?
That's
Why don't you
treason,
read
Mr.
the
Chairman.
rest of it?
That
Anybody
is
can lift that
treason.
shit out of
Defendant,
context.
you had your chance to speak. Let Agent Donovan finish
This
his
is all we
statement.
have on this close.
Pig Donovan.
This man is writing things calling for violence, calling for the destruction of this country, and is doing more than just for himself. His people are going out and spreading this all over the place, all over the country. In my very factory where I work, all kinds of people are reading his stuff. It's all over the place. Mainly the colored people are reading it. And he's just stirring them up, talking about legitimate problems that we have, and just trying to pose as violent alternatives to it.
You talk as if this is some great civilized, nonviolent place. And it ain't. America is as psychotic as it is powerful, and violence is the only goddamn thing that will command your attention.
Thank you.
Well, all right, you goddamn!
This country, this America, was born in violence. I mean, revolutions are violent things. I'm in this place right now because my people, my forebears, were violently brought here like this in chains from Africa, where they were violently made to work. It was upon the labor of their backs that you so violently wrung out of them that this country was industrialized right away, right at first. This land that we're standing on and all the rest that belongs to the country was violently taken from the Indians. Violent.